Welcome to the podcast. We Do Recover with Jared Miller, your host.
And I'm Dr. Terry Sellers, your co-host.
This is a podcast about recovery from addiction.
We want to talk about what successful recovery can look like.
Brought to you by Steps Recovery Center and the St. George Hilton Garden Inn.
Lads, ladies, listeners, welcome to episode 104. Today I got a couple dudes in recovery in the studio here with me. They're going to talk about just loving life in recovery. We talked a little bit before we came on here about, like, if you could take your story and put it in a scroll and roll it out. We're going to cut out the first half. We're going to just include all the feel-good stuff. They also got an apparel company that we're all sitting in some sweet, soft, delicious to the skin. Is that even a thing? I don't even know.
Absolutely. That's a thing.
Dang swank, baby.
Heck
Dang
yeah.
swank. Yeah, so welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is going to be fun, man. A little three-man bromance. Well, four, I guess, Sean.
Yeah.
Get me out of this. Not today.
Does he have a camera on him?
No.
Let's make it happen.
There he goes. There's Sean
There
Denneman.
you go. It's back of my head. It's back of my head.
Yes. Before we get to all that, though, our sponsors. We love our sponsors. Thanks to our sponsors. So our first sponsor, episode 104, part one, is sponsored by Steps Recovery Centers. Steps Recovery Centers is here to help you or a loved one get help. You just got to reach out. You can reach out by giving them a call at 801-800-8142, or just go directly to their website. For those of you that are watching the video version of this, we have it up. That's stepsrc.com. They have detox, inpatient, day treatment, IOP. From start to finish, they have you covered. We appreciate them sponsoring this podcast. Check them out. We also have our second sponsor, Rise Up Supplements. Rise Up Supplements is a nootropic line of supplements. Nootropics help with cognitive function, memory, basically just make you smarter. You know, a whole bunch of words. That's at the end of the day, they affect the mind. So we have two blends here. They're both powerful nootropic blends. The first one contains no caffeine. It's your kind of chill out, feel good one. That's going to be Mindful Mood. It helps decrease anxiety and enhance mood. Our second one definitely is not your chill out one. That is Mind Shift. It has 200 milligrams of caffeine enanthate, which is a slow acting caffeine. It's going to replace that energy drink you're buying for $3 or $4 at Maverick every morning. Helps increase focus, helps optimize brain function. Go to riseupsups.com and check those out. All right, let's get rocking and rolling.
Let's do it.
So we always start off with, like, you know, some positive psychology, some feel good stuff. So when I say to you, like, Chris, what's new and good, man?
Well, first and foremost, our company, like, this is the first venture of starting my own business and having a business partner. Super exciting. It's a lot more work than I ever thought, but it's amazing. You get to learn new things and, like, what it takes to jump into that and have confidence in myself. Like, my past doesn't show confidence in myself up until I got clean. And, you know, since then I've done so many beautiful things. And so this is just another one for for my life.
I love that.
Yeah.
We're going to get into Dang Swank and talk about that and how it came about and some of the things that are going good, some of the things that are tough, and maybe, you know, people that are on the verge of thinking of starting their own company and doing some type of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Thank you. Wow.
You almost swore.
Yeah.
I try to act smart, you know. Listen, I'm just a country boy from West Point.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that, though. Let's get Leighton. What's new and good, man? What's going on in your life that you're loving?
Oh, it's kind of a weird answer, but I love consistency. You know what I mean?
It's not a weird answer. I totally get
I
that.
spent so much of my life up and down, and it's like finally, for once, it's kind of even kill, and I get to, like, tackle the finer, more refined challenges in life. I don't know if that makes sense, but
No, it totally makes sense.
Yeah, no, that does.
there's a lot of payoff in, like, consistent growth and consistent, like, forward movement. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, I love that. I'm a huge advocate of, like, a routine, right?
Mm-hmm.
I tell people when they ask me, like, how'd you get your clean time? It's like routine, man. Like, at some point, it becomes habitual, and you just create habits that, like, save your butt, really, you know? So I love that answer. That's great. Let's get it. Sean Denneman, what's new and good, dude?
You know,
Something about a ferret.
My answer seems to be too flippant for this conversation already. You guys already started on this serious tone, and I don't know if I want to tell you about the ferret.
Let's get. No, we do. We help us out, man.
A ferret invaded my house at 2:00 in the morning last night.
Get out of here.
Yeah, so we have cats. We have a cat door. It goes in and out, no big deal. Cats bring mice and other stuff in. So I'm like, oh, the cat brought a mouse in. So I turn on the light and whip my legs around off the bed. That's not the cat.
Oh,
It's a ferret.
It's a ferret. We don't have a ferret. I've never seen a ferret. Maybe at a store or something, but it's been forever.
Dude, aren't ferrets like ferocious?
They can be, but they can be pets as well.
They're really
but they have
smart,
really
too.
good bites. And they poo everywhere, from what I understand.
They
Yeah,
have
they-
really good bites? Is that what I just heard?
They will bite,
bite
you.
you. Yeah, their
Bites,
teeth.
bite, mouth. Arr, 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 arr.
Clear.
Okay, good.
So, please tell me you didn't adopt this ferret.
Oh, no. Captured it, threw it outside, blocked the door. Trash can in front of the door, in front of the cat door, and then a vacuum cleaner in front of the trash can in front of the door. Are you with me so far?
Dresser.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, the
I have
cat's not
questions,
going
though.
out. The ferret's not coming in. We're going to get a good night's sleep. 2 hours later, the ferret pushed the blockade enough for him to squeeze through and get back inside the house.
Nice.
So
smart. They're smart
anyway,
creatures.
got him in a cage, took him over to animal control. I called animal control. This is the best part. Called animal control. Hey, I got this ferret that invaded my house. Their answer, another one.
This is a common thing.
So anyway, so he's in good hands, and they think they knew who the owner is, and he's in good health. So hopefully he'll go to where he needs to go.
Oh, so it was a domesticated ferret.
It looks like, yeah, he was very friendly. He wanted to snuggle up, and I'm like, I don't know who you are. I don't know. It's a really bad blind date. We're not going there.
He's like, give up the corn nuts.
Yeah.
No?
Did you
no.
have corn
Did you
nuts?
feed it?
Do carrots eat?
No.
Do carrots?
Do
ferrets
carrots eat food? Yeah.
Do ferrets eat corn nuts?
I don't know, man.
I love Sean.
There's only so much Googling I can do at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well, that's true.
So
You know what I love? You always have the craziest stories,
thank
dude.
you. Thank you.
Yeah. Like, my other question, do you have a video of this that we can put on YouTube? Because I would love to see your face at 2 a.m. when you wake up with a ferret next to you.
Tell you, I'll try to do a couple things here, and maybe I'll have it ready to show during the second part.
I like
I'll
it.
try. If not, I'll show you after the show. It's not that. It's not
Okay.
that. It's a ferret. Big deal.
Just don't blow
Me-
anything up over there.
Me in my underwear, running up the stairs with a towel. Get a towel. Give me a towel. Get a towel and get the ferret. You know that's what the conversation was about 2:15.
Oh,
So anytime you want to come spend the night, it's going to be entertaining.
nice.
I like it. I like
Ferrets
it.
are cool. Ferrets are cool. Little
like it.
creatures.
So going off of that, I'm going to share my new and good. Now, listen, for those of you that were patient enough to sit through the first part of episode 102, reflecting on 100, you know the whole biomedical procedure in detail, thanks to Sean Denovan, Terry Sellers, and my wife Mandy, of this whole IVF thing we got going on. So, anyways, on Tuesday we did the egg transfer. Went great. We find out on the 16th if we got a baby girl live in the oven. So that's my new and good.
Girl,
Yeah,
you get to pick.
we get to pick.
Really?
Yeah, the embryos, they know the chromosomes, and so
That's intense.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
and it's so cool, man. We
Little
drove
girls are amazing.
We drove 4 hours. It took like 20 minutes, and then had to drive another 4 hours. But it was rad.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's the calm in my storm of my life right now.
It's a
Dude,
beautiful.
that's a big one.
Yeah, yeah, I'm digging it. All right, so we got new and goods rocking and rolling. Everybody's feeling good. Sean's got his ferret video he's working on. So for the listeners, we have a lot of people that listen to this within this community, which I love and I appreciate those guys. We have a lot of listeners that listen out of state. We've got some people in Canada. For people that don't know you, Chris Layton, Chris went first last time. Just a little bit about who you are. How'd you end up on this podcast? Are you in recovery?
Yeah. So I started my recovery journey on June 11th in 2018 after probably 15 years of terrible lifestyle choices and a lot of pain. And it was, I don't even,
Just a
like
mess.
Chris was saying either, he's like, I don't even like talking about it. It's really sad when I sit and think about everything that I put, people through and myself and whatnot. So I'm really excited to be here now. I got 4.5 years now of just living the best life that I possibly can.
4.5 years of recovery under your belt.
Yeah.
Now, are you from St. George, Utah?
Yeah.
Okay, so you are a local.
Yeah.
I love it. It's awesome. Thanks, buddy. What about you, Chris? Tell listeners a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. I grew up here. I was born and raised in St. George. I have good parents. Like, I have a loving family, but I just got mixed up into it all. And I made a lot of choices that made my life miserable. I was in treatments, locked up, all of these things most of my life, always trying to beat the system. And it took me to hopeless, wanting to kill myself, doing things I would never do as a person, like in my heart. But while I was high, I chose to do those things, and it really broke me. And so that's what led me to
It's
here.
almost like your frontal cortex wasn't working.
Yeah, weird.
It's almost like your brain was on drugs.
It
dude.
was, and it,
weird how that happens. Yeah.
it was rough. I mean, I found myself homeless, sleeping in the desert, no food, couldn't brush my teeth or take care of myself, and doing things that I would never truly do. And it broke my heart. Now that I'm clean, like looking back, I'm grateful for where I'm at today, but it really hurt to do those things. And so, same thing. My clean date is July 6, 2018. And so I'm coming up on 4.5 years clean, and my life has been phenomenal. I've got to give back to the community. My family is all involved in my life. Like, I've actually got to help a lot of my family get clean again and be in recovery. So my mom, my sister, and me are all local in recovery here.
Dude, that's generational change.
It's amazing.
That's awesome. Man.
Beautiful. And so, yeah. And, you know, since then I've done so many fun things that I never could have pictured, making a plan and sticking to it and executing it and making it happen. Like, the only thing I used to be able to think about is 5 seconds from now, how am I going to get high?
Right. Which I kind of want to get into that, right? Because so we've already kind of talked about, we're going to focus today on life and recovery and what's beautiful, what's hard, right? What are you indifferent about? All that good stuff. For the listener that's maybe in early recovery, because there were times, I'm sure you guys can relate. Like, there were times when I was in early recovery, right? Before a year, 18 months, really life started getting better around 2 for me. But there were times within those time frames that I thought, man, if this is as good as life gets, I might as well be out using, right? Like, I wasn't really implementing coping skills. I didn't really know where I fit in because all my ex associates were still using, right? Normies are like, oh, look at this weird guy, right? Like, so let's talk about this. It's been 4.5 years for both of you, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So like, what were the things that in early recovery that really stand out to you that were monumental? I can't talk today, Sean. Monumental moments. Leighton, why don't you go first? Swivel your mic a tiny bit towards me. Yeah, that's beautiful, bro. Perfect.
Thanks. Yeah. First of all, like, life is hard. It's not, life isn't easy. And when you don't live it, or you don't try to live it for so many years, and then you start trying to live it as an adult in your 30s, like I was,
That's fair.
it's even harder, right? Because you have this whole entire background of wreckage and debts, and people don't like you, and you know what I mean. You're in a good place, and you want to apologize to people, and you want forgiveness, and they don't want to forgive you.
Or you've done that so many times and went back out there just like, this is his cycle.
People
Here
have
we
given
go
up
again.
hope, or definitely. So, I mean, when I started in recovery, life was easy. I didn't have responsibilities. I went to meetings every single day. I went to my treatment every single day. I was running all the time. I went to the gym all the time. I mean, I started by like forming all these good habits, but you can't maintain that. You know what I mean? Because
So
you
in a
can't
way-
live a life like that,
In
right?
a way, you weren't really truly independent at that point. Like,
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
in a good place. You were doing some healthy habits and doing some healthy things, but you weren't like, somebody obviously was still kind of taking care of you, which we learned in step 1. That's part of unmanageability, right? Like,
Right,
financially, somebody's helping you to be able to do those things to get well.
Or you're relying on roommates, or you know what I mean?
Sure.
People live in sober living houses. After a certain point in time, like, you get a job and you start living life, right? And then you've got collectors that are starting to come after you. People you owe money to. I remember the first year, it was like about this time of the month, and somebody called me. They're like, "You owe us like $17,000, and you have 2 weeks to pay us." And I'm like, "There's no way." And they're like, "We're gonna take you to court, and it's not gonna be good." And I'm like, "Do it then." You know what I mean? Because there's nothing I could do. Stuff
Yeah,
like
you're
that is
powerless
hard.
over that,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's
There's
like,
nothing you can do.
yeah, and it's really frustrating too, because you're like, I'm doing all the right things. You know, why is it so hard right now? Yeah.
I love that, dude. Nobody's ever come on and talked about that. And that makes that, like, I love that. I can remember getting calls from debt collectors and almost the exact same thing happened. And you are. It's like, what can you do? You can't. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't have $17,000 buried in the backyard.
Dude,
you know what I
would,
mean?
So I started paying them. I mean, I would tell them I barely make any money, and there's like 50 of you, but I'll give you $25 a month. And I would pay them just something.
Did you do
know?
kind of the David Ramsey snowball effect thing? Or you were just paying a little bit here and a little bit there?
Well, I'd schedule a monthly payment, and then one would get more. You know what I mean? As soon as that one would be paid off, then I'd start putting that towards the next one.
Yeah, it's
I
a
have
snowball.
no more collections. You know,
Yeah.
That's
it
rad,
took,
dude.
It took probably 2 or 3 years, but there's no more collections. Yeah.
Hey, there's a lesson in and of itself for the early person recovery. That snowball effect. Check out Google David Ramsey snowball. That's great. That's awesome, man. What about you, Chris? Let's get it. What early recovery? What really stands out to you? What are some monumental things that you can share with the listener in early recovery?
Yeah, absolutely. So this wasn't my first time getting clean or putting together clean times. So like this time was a little bit different than the last few. Cause when I decided to get clean this time, the first time I ever took myself to rehab and did a detox, which way better than going to jail and being sick inside a jail cell and detox. Like I went to medical detox and then I went to a treatment because I knew that there was a better life and I knew how to get it. So things have changed, but
Let me pause right there, though. I'm sorry, I do this all the time.
No,
I
you're
ask a
good.
question and you get on a roll. But I do want to point out, though, there is a huge difference, right?
Huge difference.
Like my detox was a jail cell.
Yeah,
And
it
that's
sucks.
miserable,
Oh, horrible.
right? Like you can't take showers when you want.
Yeah,
You
no.
can't eat food when you want. The food that comes looks gross and you're
Oh.
just like sick already. And you're like, I ain't eating that. So the difference is when you say, I checked myself in, like, let's be honest, detox, you get to hang out, play video games,
Best
watch movies.
decision.
You got like snuggy blankets,
Yeah.
right? You get all the snacks and soda you want.
The
Like-
medical detox as well versus
Yeah, and a doctor's actually
Yeah.
overseeing you instead of like a guard,
It
right?
took
Like
the
a jail
fear-
guard.
it took that fear of withdrawals away because I knew I was going to be okay. As soon as I made it to 24 hours clean and they started giving me the medical detox, I was like, okay, I'm here. I don't need to leave. I don't need to run because those are the thoughts that go through people's head because they don't want to be sick. And
Sure.
so it was a huge difference for me. And like, as you said, being in jail, I remember I would wait because the cops would come in every hour to check on the bunks. And as soon as they left, I'd run to the shower and get in the shower and just so sick and miserable.
Shake and
And I couldn't sleep. So big difference.
Glad we don't got to do that no more,
Absolutely.
bro. Right, right.
Absolutely.
So what else? What else kind of stands out? I love that. I'm glad we talked about that.
And so then this time I went through a treatment as well down here, and it's very prominent here, and it makes you go to meetings. You have to UA every day. It keeps that consistency and the accountability, which was a big factor for me. But through that, like Leighton said, I had a bunch of debts. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a license. But from my relationships from before, when I came home, they put me on a shuttle from Salt Lake, and I'm coming home and I don't know what I'm going to do. And I have a really strong connection with the fellowship here. So I hit up Derek and he's in recovery. I was like, hey, I'm coming off the shuttle in like 2 hours. Can you pick me up? He picked me up. We went to a meeting. And then from that, I had nowhere to stay or anything. Dustin and Crystal, I'm sure you know them. They were at the meeting and they were like, you can stay at my house on my couch. as long
Crystal
as
was our guest last week for
Yeah.
the listeners that just picked
Absolutely.
up that reference. Yeah.
And so they let me stay on their couch. I got a job at Denny's. It's crazy when you get clean and you actually put that intention or you start working, things work out in your favor versus when you're high and you can't figure out what you're going to do next. I literally just hit up people who were clean. I had a place to stay. I got a job and I started from that point. And
But it's crazy the amount of anxiety that you have, like sitting in detox and sitting in residential, right? Like, and I'm glad you brought that up. So working as a counselor with clients when they have that overwhelming, we call it future tripping, right? I love the analogy. You can drive from Los Angeles, California to downtown New York in the darkness, only knowing what 50 to 100 feet in front of you with headlights. Like, there's a path. You don't have to know the exact. You just have to start moving on it, and
true.
slowly it unfolds itself.
So true.
Right. That's kind of what you're describing to
It's
me,
true.
anyways.
It happens. And
But guess what? If you sit in LA and you don't ever start on that path, you're
never
never
gonna
going to
get
end up in
there.
New York.
Yeah,
Right.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so from that point forward, though, like I just put my foot in front of the next, and things managed to work out, and like I got my life back. I started getting a car. I got a license. I, was showing up and doing what I was supposed to, and I graduated treatment. I met really good friends, and you know, it really changed my whole outlook. But my first year was so busy that like you couldn't really think of the bad, honestly. Like you just had to keep going, and it put me in the best position ever. So
Sometimes distraction's a great coping
it was
skill, right?
beautiful.
Yeah, keep
No
yourself
time to
busy.
think, bro.
Yeah, I like that. So if you had a highlight reel, right? So that's kind of, I love it. Man, you guys are killing it right now. So that's early recovery stuff. You've got it 4.5 years. At what point did the bell curve change? In other words, at what point? At first, it's kind of an uphill battle. Would you agree? Like just the the unknown, right? The insecurities, the future tripping.
Kind of. I mean,
For you, it wasn't. Layton,
a
go
lot
ahead.
of it was a distraction too. You know what I mean? Like he's saying, for the first year, you're so busy. You know what I mean? You're kind of relieved because you're finally out of this mess, and you've got some hope, and you've got something to look forward to. But to answer your question, I think probably a year and a half into it is when life starts to get really real, or did for me. You know, I got my kids back, and I'm all of a sudden parenting, and my challenges became like, how do I excel at my job? How do I become a better parent? And, you know, why am I failing here? A lot of personal reflection, a lot of looking in on myself and being like, how can I be better? You know?
So twice you've put my foot back in my mouth, Layton. So let me say this and let me know if it's accurate or not, which is great. I love it, right? Because it's different perspectives. So when I say difficult, that's kind of what I'm meaning it, right? Is like you haven't fully been accepted back into maybe some family circles, kids stuff. Okay, so would you say that after it was kind of like you weren't white knuckling it anymore?
I don't know that I've ever really white knuckled it, you know?
Okay.
Like when somebody says white knuckle to me, I think of like wanting to use and just not, you know what I mean? And just sitting there in an uncomfortable and an unhappy place. I don't let myself do that. Like I will never sit stagnant. I know for me, if I'm stagnant, I'm in danger. That's when I need to watch out. And the reason I think that I've been successful this far in my recovery is that I'm always pushing myself forward. You know what I mean? The second that I stop, it's like, so I'm never white knuckling it. I have really, really down times. I have really hard times, stuff that you learn to deal with when you're a young adult, you know, like relationships and stuff. When you're getting high or getting drunk all the time, you don't ever learn how to deal with those. You don't emotionally mature. So you're 33 and some girl you've been dating for 3 months breaks up with you, and you're like, it's devastating.
It's like that
to you.
16-year-old kid in high school. That's high school
Exactly. And I realized that real quick. I'm like, you know, I should have gone through this stuff when I was like 16. And at that point, I realized why everybody my age looks so much older than me. Like I see other people that are 37 and I'm like,
They were stressed.
they look so
actually had
much older, and it becomes really apparent how far behind I was.
Yeah.
So I'm always just about pushing myself forward. I don't white knuckle.
Nice. Was there a time kind of when things turned a corner for you, Chris, or you got that kids back in your life, you know, getting better jobs, or maybe you felt like you could kind of take a breath?
Yeah. So around probably 2 years, you know, at that stage, I kind of had the job. I got into sales. I was making good money, you know, and got the relationship back. And so things really were just kind of the mundane, right? Recovery can be mundane, and that's that consistency that really gets you places. And so at that stage, I could kind of relax, and like it kept getting better and better as I learned new skills and all of that. Having a sponsor has really, you know, made a big difference in working the steps. Oh my goodness. I'm not I used to be really up and down. Like my swings were so big, but I've learned to just kind of, it is what it is. Like I'm going to take it from this point forward. And so my life is a lot mellower, even through the chaos. Like I can relax, you know, it's not the end of the world. I don't have to get high over it. I'm going to make it. And that's what I've learned. So it's a beautiful thing.
I love it, man. Yeah, that's great. It helps when you are basically being mentored by somebody who's gone through similar things and been able to walk through those things, right? Yeah. Because like I tell people all the time, after like our clients, when they make it through a big holiday, like we just made it through Thanksgiving, I always go in, and of course it's probably a little hallmarky, but I say, congratulations, everybody. You have successfully made it through Thanksgiving. Right. You will always be able to know how to make it through Thanksgiving clean. Yeah. Because you've done it.
True.
Congratulations,
so
right?
True.
And to be able to go to somebody like you guys, like sounds like that's both of your stories, and be able to that's walked through things that maybe you're experiencing at the time, and then give you pointers and tell you, hey, guess what? I know it doesn't feel like it, but everything's going to be okay.
That's why the fellowship is so important. Finding a fellowship I think it's critical.
Yeah. We're going to jump back into all this. We're basically to year 2 for most of these guys in their recovery. We're going to get all the way to year 4.5. And of course, we're going to talk about Dang Swank, their apparel company, right after this little 30-second message from our sponsors.
You are listening to We Do Recover with Jared Miller and co-hosted by Dr. Terry Sellers. We'll be right back after this short break with more of We Do Recover with Jared Miller, sponsored by Steps Recovery Center and the Hilton Garden Inn.
I'm Desmond Lomax, one of the clinical executives here at Steps Recovery, and once you become of the Steps family, you're just a part of the Steps family. A lot of us have overcome substances, overcome addiction, and now we're able to help other people. Second of all, we're also going to help you in a way where you can afford to be helped. Third of all, we're going to give you the same quality that many organizations are charging 2 to 3 times, and it's more about you than it is about our organization.
We welcome you back to We Do Recover with Jared Miller, co-hosted by Dr. Terry Sellers. Brought to you by Steps Recovery Center and the St. George Hilton Garden Inn. And now with part 2 of our podcast, Jared Miller and Dr. Terry Sellers.
We are back, baby. Episode 104, part 2 is underway. I got Chris and Leighton in studio, a couple dudes in recovery, right? We're just bromancing out, hanging out, talking about life in recovery. We've just decided we're just going to cut out all the ugly stuff and just have some fun talking about years in recovery and what they look like and struggles. And I love it, man. It's been great so far. Before we get back into it, though, episode 104, part 2 is brought to us by the Hilton Garden Inn. It is always sunny and bright at the Hilton Garden Inn. Check it out. The holidays are coming up. Christmas is right around the corner. If you've got family that is coming to the Utah area, specifically southern Utah, go to Google, type in Hilton Garden Inn, St. George, Utah. They have amazing amenities. We really appreciate them sponsoring this podcast. They're also super affordable. That is what I like. I know, right? It's probably cliche to talk about money, but that's a thing for me. I don't know about you guys, but
Money's a big
like
thing.
if it's really nice and it's affordable,
Yeah.
sign me up. That's the Hilton Garden in St. George, Utah. So in the first part, we talked to Sean about his ferret incident, and it's just hilarious to me. So, and these guys seem pretty cool, right? They're pretty relaxed. So we're gonna.
My wife just told my mom about it. Now I'm getting texts from my mom saying, I just heard about the ferret.
Yes,
So
she listens. I appreciate that. That's rad.
you want to see? Let's see if I can pull up some of these pictures.
So we've got the video, everybody. If you're watching the video,
So it's
version of
just
this.
it's just a still. She had to crop it, otherwise it was my big old butt hanging. But
It just looks like a black cat, dude.
it does. It looks like a
does look
small
like a cat.
cat. And then I got the towel because that's how you catch creatures,
Sure.
right? With the towel. And he kept going towards the towel. Not only he's like, oh hey, it's the light. I don't know.
They're playful. They're super playful.
That was the other one. So that's a picture of him inside the cage.
Cool,
That's
cool.
cute.
And he seemed friendly. There was nothing nefarious. He wasn't growling, hissing, or whatnot. So I wasn't too
I
scared.
kind of want him as a pet now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Sean.
might have kept
Well, he's
him.
over at the he's at the St. George animal shelter.
Oh my gosh, he's
I'm
gonna be
pretty-
gone by the time this is over with. That is a cute
He
little
was
ferret.
over.
I'm pretty sure they know who the owner is, so they're gonna find the owner. Let's see if I can bring this up here.
Not if I got $100 bill for him.
So this is the second time around. He's in the bathroom. I have the cat cage. I open up the door, and I'm like, just go inside the little cat cage, and he kind of does. But you can see this is 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
I'm in
that's a
no
rough-
mood,
That's a rough time.
and it's an animal I don't know. So I'm like, he comes walking towards me, like, nope.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out.
Nope.
That's funny.
So.
That's
And of course,
awesome.
the wife, she's in bed, like, I'll take the pictures. I'm like, thanks, honey. Thanks. So there you go. A little bit of the ferret whisperer happening
Nice.
over on Valley View and Sunset.
Nice.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I think half the time you come up with these crazy stories,
Dude,
and so
I
I
can't know why-
genuinely appreciate that you had like evidence, right? Yeah, right. You know,
He's like, I got proof.
He actually owns that ferret.
Yeah.
either way, it's great content, Sean. Keep them coming, man. Maybe you go out swimming in the ocean, and a shark attacks you.
Yeah.
You know,
Make sure to have a GoPro.
Well, I told you about Jamaica and how I got stung by jellyfish.
Oh,
True story.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
we gotta
no
get that
shark,
video.
but jellyfish.
All right. So listen, I completely forgot when I was doing the sponsorship mentions in the first part. You guys brought me a T-shirt
absolutely.
in the spirit of gift giving for the holidays. I got you guys a bottle of each, the Mind Shift
Nice.
and the Mindful Mood. so
That's
Got to
awesome.
check those out. Yeah, I love the mind shift in the morning. Take 2 of them. I'm telling you, you won't need a coffee. You won't need a Rockstar. It's slow acting caffeine, so you don't get like the jitters like a pre-workout. Man, you'll have a productive day.
Well, thank
If you feel like 2 is not enough, take 3. That's the thing. How it's written is you take 2 to 3.
Well, I'm an addict, so
So you're gonna start off with 3.
start 3. We'll go from there.
Yeah, your buddies with Aaron. I work with Aaron. I'm not giving up his Xanadu. Right.
Yeah, take them all.
All them whole.
Right. So get back into addict behavior. Mandy likes the mindful mood. I like mindful mood at night. It helps me kind of like chill out after a long day.
Right.
So yeah, enjoy those. Let me
Thank
know what
you.
you think, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So let's get back into this. So we were talking about your guys' life in recovery, right? We kind of built up to around year 2. Year 3. Let's think about year 3 and contemplate anything really pop out significant in year 3, or any pointers for somebody in early recovery listening. Like, again, the point is I'm trying to like, there's hope, right? Like life gets to a point where things start to get better.
So this is right around the time COVID happened too.
Oh yeah.
COVID.
Yeah,
That's
COVID
not a
happened.
Not a
exciting
positive.
thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
But you
I
guys
think
made it
was-
through COVID. I mean,
Absolutely.
That's
a
some
lot of
knowledge
people
there.
didn't make it through
Yeah.
COVID.
Sure.
A lot of people struggled through COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, so I was in the sales realm, and like, so it's not all about financial, but like coming from being homeless and all of that, and like having nothing in my life, to coming to where I've come because of recovery and being able to show up, give myself a chance, try new things, like things of that nature. During COVID, my life was phenomenal, and God bless everybody who had a horrible time, because it was a very bad time. But my life like blew up through COVID, and like it financially, my relationship, like having nice things, doing fun things, traveling, all happened during
But
COVID.
see, if I'm listening to this and I'm from back east, right? Like, I don't think people truly understand out. Like in St. George, Utah, COVID didn't truly affect us like it did
not
other
the
places.
same, yeah.
Like you travel. I remember heading out to California. I was on somebody's podcast out in California as a guest, and we stopped in like Nevada, and like you couldn't even go in the gas station just to walk through it to use the restroom without a mask.
It's
And
crazy.
and yet here in St. George, Utah, a lot of times, like Walmart,
No one
it
cares.
was 50-50.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
people wore them, some people didn't, right? I don't know what that says about where we live, guys, but for us, right. And there was like some time that it was a little bit more strict,
Yeah.
but again, like that's crazy even of itself that it didn't like, there was no negativeness for you. It was all positive.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I felt bad for others. I truly did, because I knew people were having a horrible time. But like, I was super grateful. My career blew up. We got to travel. We went to the Virgin Islands. We went to California. We went skydiving. Like so many different things, and it was just amazing for me. So you know,
awesome.
I got to look at the positive in it.
It also helps that like tickets, they were giving them away
Oh,
right,
yeah.
for flights and stuff because
Yeah.
most people weren't traveling or scared to travel. Yeah. What'd that look like for you, Leighton? What's life in recovery 3 years?
3 years. So, yeah, I think around 2 years or somewhere in there, I had like acquired the job that I've always wanted, and I had this amazing relationship, and it was exactly what I wanted. She was pregnant, and it all fell apart, all at once.
Quite the opposite of Chris's
Yeah. I
experience.
got a huge demotion, and the relationship kind of fell apart, and it didn't work out. And I had this baby coming. It was hard. COVID was happening.
He
That was-
lost his Tesla.
yeah, I lost my Tesla. I mean, it was rough. Like, right, that was a rough time. That's why I say,
Yeah.
like, life is hard, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And then to lose the fellowship because COVID had
Yeah.
dispersed everybody, you
That
know.
was true.
And the fellowship is a huge part of recovery. I mean, having that connection with people, there's nothing else like it. So not having that support group was really hard too.
Yeah, place to belong, community, friends.
But you learn from that too, you know. I learned that I don't need people. I learned that I can be myself without the help of these other people. So there was a lot of growth. I mean, growth really happens in those hard parts.
Yeah.
So
Dude, shout out to the people that got clean through like Zoom meetings. I hated them. Like I went for my home group, but I would be like out riding my bullet bike with my phone on like my little mount, and I'd be just cruising, listening. Like I hated every second of the Zoom meetings, but God bless that they were there for the people who needed them. But it would be so hard to get clean and not have what everybody has always had, you know, friends, fellowship, going out to eat, getting a sponsor that you've like met and know, and like working it would be a tough thing to get clean during COVID.
I feel like there's always been a pandemic, right? With like substance abuse and addiction, all that
Yeah.
fun stuff. I do feel like COVID-19 was gasoline on that fire.
Oh, yeah.
Like there were so many people. And of course, fentanyl started coming out around this time too, right? And so we all know and don't need to talk about fentanyl, man. It's just a killer. And so, yeah, I feel like that was kind of the cherry on the top of this powder keg.
Yeah.
You know, like
It was rough.
a lot of people that were in recovery went back out. A lot of people that were using died. It was definitely
Yeah.
a hard time for our people in our community. Yeah.
It was rough. I in like a week, I had 3 close friends back to back die, and it was just like, dude, like it was rough.
Yeah.
And they'd all been in the fellowship and then relapsed and then died. It was very sad.
Year 4. And then we're going to get to Dank Swank.
Year 4's been nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it really has. It's just life is pretty even kill. That's what when we started. Like, what's new and cool, and it's like just even kill life is. It's actually nice, you know.
I like
it's
it.
been good.
So for me, the last 6 months to 8 months has actually been pretty hard, and 2 years ago too as well. Like my dad passed away 2 years ago, and that was a rough thing for me in my recovery. He was the man who raised me out. Like I have 2 dads, right? I have a bonus dad, and he's the one who passed away, and he raised me and was in my life my whole life. And so when he passed away, you know, that was one thing that it hurt, but I got to get through it clean. And yet again, my mom, she's an alcoholic. My sister was high. They had accumulated a house where all my uncles and my grandpa were contractors. All their projects, all their tools, everything, all this trash was in this yard. And if it wasn't for the fellowship, to keep me clean and help my family through that. And I had so many of my brothers from Fame. You've had a few of our brothers from Fame on here. I ride with them. They all came together and we got to clear out all this trash and do yard sales and dump runs and like all of these things to help ease that for my mom. And then we sold the house, and then my mom got into recovery. And so that was a really tough part of my recovery. And then the last year we got our kids back, me and Crystal, and they moved in with us, and that was a big fight to get them back and have them in our lives. But you know, being a parent, it's rough, you know.
So for those of you that remember or haven't heard it, Crystal actually was on the podcast as well. She shared her story. So
Yeah.
this is her significant other, Chris,
Yes.
sitting right here.
She's a great woman, and we've made a good life. And you know, now we have a 17-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 12-year-old. And, you know, they all have their personalities, and, you know, they may be a little lazier, one of them, and then the other one does this or whatever. But I get to show up like my stepdad did for me. And like, I get to teach them about going to school, getting decent grades, getting a job, driving cars, and like do these things that, you know, my stepdad did for me.
There it is.
And, you know, that's another huge blessing of recovery. The last 6 months though, you know, the company I work for kind of shut down. So things have shifted a lot, and finances is something that I've worked really hard on in recovery. So now that like things have changed, it's rough on my heart, but I don't have to get high. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I get to reevaluate. I get to push myself in other ways, and that's all right.
And I think that's the point, right? Is each one of those things that you've shared that were kind of tough parts, you're able to get through them.
Yeah,
You're
clean.
still clean, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I love it. Okay. Let's talk about Dank Swank. So I put out a promo, right? Well, you sent me the picture, if we're being completely transparent. I just find it comical that your guys' promo to come on this podcast, the owners of an apparel company, right? Like a t-shirt and clothing company, here it is shared out. Neither one of you have a shirt on, right? So is this because you guys gave away, like you're just walking down the street and people are like, oh, I like your shirt. And you're like, you know what, here you go.
Yeah.
Or like, talk to me about this.
We're always giving away.
Yeah, we do giveaways on our website and stuff. We try to honor things like that as well. But yeah, we live in Southern Utah, a very hot place. So
You don't need shirts
You
a lot
don't
of
need
times.
shirts
We
here.
spend a lot of time on the beach. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I love swimming.
The lake, literally, Crystal and me and Jada specifically. The boys don't really come with us because they're teenagers and they do what they want. But me, Crystal, and Jada go to the lake almost every single weekend, and we're just out there in the sun. And Leighton, like, we'll even go at different times and see each other there. We're like,
Yes,
oh, what's up,
yes.
bro?
Didn't plan
It's
it.
awesome, dude.
That's awesome. So, okay, so here's the thing. You guys are in recovery, right? You got some clean time. How did Dank Swank get started? And for those of you listening to this, if you have no idea what we're talking about, Chris and Leighton are the owners of an apparel company that's like, it's motorcycles and recovery, right? It's the things you guys are passionate about. So go to dankswank.shop. That's Dank, D-A-N-K, Swank, W-S-W-A-N-K.shop, S-H-O-P. Check out their apparel. So how did that even get started, man? Like you're hanging out at the beach one Saturday and
Almost exactly.
Yeah, kinda.
We were always talking. We got to do some business. We got to
Yeah.
do something. We got to do something. I'm like, dude, let's do it. Let's stop talking about it. Let's try it. Let's try to fail. Is what I said. I said, let's try to
Yes.
fail. There's nothing that we can lose. You know what I mean? And we just started doing it. It was time. It
Yeah.
was time.
So like me and Leighton have like joined a trade group together, learning Forex and things like that. And since being clean and learning about finances and like trying to just have a better life, like we've just tried things. And so we had always talked, oh, we need to do this. Like I still want to have sober houses. Like I want to own real estate. Like I have big goals for myself. And so we're sitting there and he's like, dude, I'm sick of talking. Let's just do something. So I was like, hey, let's meet on Friday. He comes and he has the name and he has formed an LLC. And then we went to the bank, opened our business account, and it just started from there.
boom.
You just got to do it. If you're
So
gonna do
who
something.
did the website? Because listen, I think the website is phenomenal, right? Like I love the whole look of it, the outlay, everything's simple. It's like just click, ready, boom, go.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what it was
Yeah.
too. Click, ready, boom, go.
Leighton's in the tech realm. So Leighton took care of like the website and I was doing all the designs, but now we actually have the girls in our life are our biggest
Yeah,
supporters.
let's be honest.
It's crazy.
Right? Like Mandy's the pusher for Rise Up Supplements.
Oh yeah,
for sure. right?
Crystal, the same thing. They're our first buys. They always share our stuff. They've done designs.
Social media
Oh, yeah.
gurus.
So it's
How-
a beautiful thing.
How long did that website take you, Leighton?
Like 2 days. We had it. It was up almost immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But to get it
was
to where
easy.
it was now, it took you 2 days.
Yeah, it was like 2 days. I mean,
You're
we
hired.
add to it
We
all
need
the
to do
time.
some work
Yeah.
together, bro. You did a phenomenal job on the website.
Thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank Wix.
Yeah. And this was at the time that like my company was like going under and stuff. So like I had all this time on my hands. And so I just started cranking out designs and like I just focused all my time there so we could build an inventory. And then we went through learning curves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we
Learning
talked about one of
curves.
those.
Yeah.
Going through. Yeah.
You never know what it takes, when you're first going into it. But like we ordered a shirt and I was like, that's garbage, like material. I would never wear that ever.
Yeah.
What's the point of that? And
So on that point, right? Like I love t-shirts. I'm a t-shirt guy. Like if I'm not at work or somewhere where I need to be dressed up nice,
Right.
I love t-shirts
T-shirt.
and shorts and flip-flops. Like
Yeah.
that's my jam.
St. George, baby.
I am huge about the fill in the fit though.
Yeah.
Like if you give me a Gilland that looks like,
A cardboard
Popeye
box.
should be fitting in the sleeves, and then it's got the barrel in the
Yeah,
middle.
I
Like
hate it.
I have OCD, right? I'm diagnosed OCD. No front. That's a real thing for me.
Right.
And I am very particular about a shirt. As soon as you
Hey,
handed
all
me
my,
this
all
shirt,
my radio T-shirts are Gillen. That's why you never wear my radio T-shirts.
Dude, we're talking material
okay,
now.
man. It's okay.
this is let's don't personalize this, Sean. Let's just keep it. Let's just speak in generals.
Talk to us after the show.
Yeah. so yeah, like I love
It
the first thing
matters.
I noticed was the canvas. And I'm not going to say the
Yeah.
company it is because it's your guys' shirts, right? But it's very important to me the feel, the fit of the canvas. When I
Yeah.
say canvas, it's the type of material that you
Yeah.
buy. And I will say this, somebody that's done shirts is promos and giveaways and fundraisers. The brand you guys have that you gave me is not cheap.
No.
It's some money
Yeah.
compared to the prices you guys have.
Yeah.
It's some money. So that goes to show that you're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
It's quality stuff. What is this? 6-inch crew.
Yeah.
is
so
that?
so we do funny We do motorcycle, we do recovery, like whatever comes to our mind. We just want to have a shop for everyone. And so this is kind of a funny, right? As I was
6-inch
designing,
crew,
it was 6-inch crew, 6-inch crew
Little
right
sexual
there.
pun in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Take
Absolutely.
it how you take it.
Yeah.
Oh, we just got dinged by shot. Okay, can you get a shot of the back of my shirt if I get up out of this chair?
Yeah.
So talk to me about this shirt. I'll be the design model here. Don't judge my runway walk.
Yeah. Yeah. So yet again, it comes down to I was on the design and like we have an awesome platform that kind of has templates and ideas because Photoshop's a lot. But so everything that I come up with, I find the template and then I kind of create it and make it my own. And so like obviously I'm in Fame. So a lot of my designs are motorcycle related. See no evil. You know, you can take that how you will. But yeah,
It's like dude and punk stuff, I feel like.
Yeah.
Right? Like it really is like it's like funny, it's creative, it's colorful. I
Yeah.
like it, man. I'm gonna have to buy me some dang swank, baby.
absolutely.
Yeah, the more the better.
Yeah. And you know,
And the more designs, the better.
yeah.
Oh
and-
yeah, I
and-
thought you were saying the
the
more shirts
sales
I
as
bought.
well. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
great
yeah.
too.
And so the cool thing too is like, yet again, we get to learn through things. And so like my mind works a certain way. I have a certain taste, a certain color palette. And so a lot of my designs are similar in ways. And so since then, his girlfriend and my girlfriend, they get to do the more sensitive side or like, you know, things like that, which has been a beautiful blessing because I think a certain way.
I'm
I
sure
live a
there's some
certain way.
female stuff on there. I just wasn't looking
Oh,
because
yeah.
I'm selfish and I
Yeah.
was looking for me. Let's be honest, right? How did somebody? I'm not a narcissist, but narcissistic traits
Right.
can be a defect of mine, right?
I work through that in my steps all the time.
Yeah. So Leighton, talk to me about like what is it that really this company means, represents? What are you hoping for this company to turn into?
We've talked a lot about like just putting one foot in front of the other. You know what I mean? And it's easy to get blocked by too big of a picture.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Something that's almost unattainable. So really, this is just push one foot in front of the other. Like I said, we don't care if we fail.
Yeah.
You know? It's not about that. It's about doing what we're saying we want to do
Yeah.
and just not holding back. Hopefully, this is the first step in something huge. I'd love to buy recovery houses.
Yeah.
I'd love to buy Airbnbs, and this is just facilitating that path.
I love it, man. I
Yeah.
love it. There's a business book that I read before I started Rise Up Supplements. I'm a reader. I like to read books. I don't remember the title of the book. It was about people that were avalanche like climbers, or anyways, there were these climbers of these huge places, and it talked about like consistency, like basically the way that they did it is they would hike for 300 or 30 miles a day. It was 30 miles a day. But in there, it talked about another business strategy was shoot bullets, not cannons, right? And that's
Exactly.
kind of like let it roll out, try little things, see what works, see what doesn't work. So
Yeah.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. My memory recall is terrible, guys.
Me too, actually. It's crazy. But yeah, like we've literally just every single day is something new with it. Like we get to learn and like, oh, this can do this. Oh, let's try social media. Like we did our first Facebook ads. We've built our fan pages. We had no idea about that, right? And
Guerrilla
like,
advertisement.
Yeah.
Baby, that's
it. And so we're just learning, and if we fail, we fail, and if we get somewhere great, like that would be amazing. And that's obviously the real goal. But we do giveaways. We want to like give back as well, because without recovery and this type of life, we would never have it. So we want to give back as well.
Talk to me about inventory, because when I was doing, so we raised some money for an organization that does sober living, the Sobriety Foundation, right? We raised like $1,500 for the Sobriety Foundation just through selling T-shirts.
Nice.
One thing that I struggled with was like, I would have one small and 10 larges and 0 mediums, and somebody put an order in for mediums, and it's like, I got to order 72 shirts
Right.
to get the best deal.
Yeah.
Do you guys struggle with inventory, or how is it you work that?
We drop ship,
Print
What?
to order, yeah.
print on demand. Yeah. And that was another thing, you know.
So it's in a warehouse,
yeah. All
they
over the
print
US.
and then it ships out to them.
Yep.
So
There's
you don't even guys got to sit on money.
nope.
We don't have to do anything.
Nope. It's
We
all
make the shirts.
it's amazing.
These two are mad geniuses, Sean.
and so
They figured it out.
it only takes like it's really awesome. Like if you order today, your shirt or hoodie or accessory would be there within like 6 days, unless something happened with shipping. But other than that, like it's been consistent to 5 to 7 days.
I love it.
And it's awesome because we don't have to have like a bunch of shirts. So obviously with Fame, big shout out to them, love them. That's my people as well. We sell shirts and do events to help the recovery community as well. And like, yet again, you never know, right? You'll have 10 XLs and 3
Yeah.
small.
It's
and
a
then,
nightmare, bro.
And it goes either way. You'll be like, oh, we learned last time, get more larges. And then you need more XLs or more smalls. So you can never nail it down.
What I love, and I put out so through the Rise Up supplements and the kind of the venue that I'm doing, I found a little TikTok that was like, support your friends, right? Support
Yeah.
local businesses. Like, even if you can't afford it, like share their stuff, share their message, help get it out there.
Throw a heart on it.
Yeah, because it's so hard. You know what I mean?
is.
Like, we try to post at least once a day, daily on our social media stuff for Rise Up Supplements. And man, sometimes it's crickets. And so I wanted to give you guys a chance to come on here, talk about dankswank.shop. Boom, boom, dankswank.shop, dankswank.shop. And give you guys an opportunity to show my support. I'm also going to ask our listeners, go to dankswank.shop, pick a shirt, check it out, order one, man. It's going to a good cause.
Absolutely. And do we still have the Easy 10 up, or should we throw that up there?
Yeah, there's a few promo
Yeah,
codes.
give them a promo code.
Yeah, so the
Got
promo
20 seconds left.
the promo code's going to be Easy10. So at checkout, type in Easy10 in the promotion and you'll get a 10% discount.
Dude, love you guys. Love what
Love
you're
you,
doing.
brother.
It's rad.
Thank you.
So check us out next week for episode 104. It's going to be me, Doc Sellers. If you have 105, me and Dr. Sellers are taking questions. We're going to answer those through email or direct message and social media.
Thank you for joining us today on We Do Recover with Jared Miller.
Help us spread our message of hope. Like, comment, and share.
If you have any topics or ideas for future shows, please share that on our Facebook page.
That Facebook page is We Do Recover with Jared Miller. If you or a loved one needs help, please reach out to us. Again, thank you for listening.
Brought to you by Steps Recovery Center and the St. George Hilton Garden Inn. This has been a production from a podcast studio.